Hello, Jeff. Hello, Frank.
How you doing, Stephen?
Hey.
How are you doing? Is the house, are you getting, is the house standing on the wall?
Not yet. I'm still trying to get my finances in order.
Good luck.
Hi, Anna.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Becky, have you touched base with Steve Sullivan today? Do you know if he's going to be here?
Steve will not be here,
Okay.
and Steve has resigned from the committee
Okay.
and his job at the highway department.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. What was the last thing you said? And his job at the highway department?
okay.
Sorry to hear that.
Yep.
Yeah, too. Okay.
All right. Well, it's 5:31. Call this meeting to order. First thing is to review the minutes from last meeting, August 21st. And I have a couple questions. Under guest, I see the name Mary Wells. I don't see Janice Stone, who I pretty certain was there and commented on the fact that the signboard at Montague was a replica.
It was Marty Wells.
With a T, a man.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we just need to add Janice Stone.
But it was, let me go to the notes. Henry Getz, Marty Wells, Bert Fernandez,
Right,
and Russ Greco.
right.
Was Janice Stone one of the users that the other guys used? I don't remember a female.
I think
being-
she was at the select board meeting, Stephen, and not at the planning and the building
Oh,
committee meeting.
oh, thank you. That's my
That's
mistake.
where she spoke up.
Yeah, that's okay. Because I had made a change, so maybe you can
Yeah, I
correct it.
understand. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, other
Okay,
people, it's fun because other people do use their spouse's account or someone else's account, so the names are always there wrong, so.
right. Yeah, I was remembering when I went to the select board.
Yeah, but I did
meeting.
write them down.
Nice.
Okay, people had a chance to look over the minutes.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion? I made a few changes. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes from August the 21st?
I make a motion to accept August 21st meetings minutes.
Second,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor, Cook,
Hi.
again,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
Aye.
Almas, aye. Thank you. Okay, some quick updates. So update on the Shutesbury School elementary school painting project. I went up there the other day and put the weather stripping that we had taken off to paint the doors back on, and there was one sign that needed to be put back up, and I did that. Becky, you have an update on the docs needed from the painting contractor?
I gave Jeff they presented 2 notebooks with the warranties on the paint and the PVC, I think it was the other material. And then I received an email with all the outstanding payroll documents, a correct invoice. And I think that's all that was in that email. So no, the warranties for the work from Santos are also in the book, aren't they? They're in the book, Jeff? Or were they separate? I can grab the book.
Yeah, I don't have the book in front of me.
So I think they, that completes what their required documentation. Certified payrolls, manufacturer for paint and PVC, warranties. And there, we ended up with nothing on the punch list. Is that correct?
Correct.
Cool. That's great.
Nice.
Yeah, and here's the PVC. Okay, and here's the paint. Sherwin-Williams. The warranty that's not in there, I think it's listed in the contract. So I have to go back to the contract and double check that. If the warranty is implicit in there or we need a separate document from them.
When you say the warranty, which warranty? Their warranty?
And yeah, Santos
Yeah,
warranty.
no, that should be a separate document.
And it should be for 2 years.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. So I'll double check the email, and if it's not there, that would be the outstanding item that we need to procure from them. And so I'll have Ryan hold the check till I get that.
So I assume, Jeff, that when you look through these notebooks that Becky provided you with, everything looked okay?
I didn't see any issues.
Good.
Correct. Okay.
Okay. So sounds like, except for getting that 2-year warranty from Santos, we're in good shape. Yes, Becky?
Yes, we are in good shape, and so I submitted the check over the weekend. It's not been printed yet, and I'm reaching out to Ryan to ask him to hold it for me till we get the warranty, if it's not in addition to the invoices I received.
Okay, great. School looks wonderful.
It's really good.
Update on the dam keeper shed roof. Russ Wilson ordered the materials, has the materials. Another volunteer who used to work for us, Dave Mosier, is going to participate in redoing the roof, and that's happening tomorrow.
He also completed the waiver to do the work, the town waiver as a
Oh,
volunteer.
good, because I printed out one to take tomorrow in case he hadn't.
No, he's been in.
Good, good.
So what's happening tomorrow? They're finishing or they're starting?
Starting.
Okay.
Starting and hopefully finishing. I don't.
It's not that big. It's just all logistics. Yeah, falling into the water.
I'm just curious on two things. How are they getting the materials to the dam? Are they going over the neighbor's property or are they going over the town property?
Town property. Except for the entryway that Zarahuas have allowed the dam keeper to walk over.
Okay.
I mean, they can enter and park their vehicles there. I think Steve has talked to the dam keeper.
I talked to
And-
Anthony last week, and he said, parking there was fine. Russ has a little trailer, which, he has attached to the back of his van, and he'll have the materials on that. I'll drive down there, or maybe just walk down there.
Walk down there. I was asking about the parking because the neighbor at an end of summer party, and there were 2 cars parked on the street right next to the no parking signs.
Uh-huh. Were they ticketed?
No, I was surprised that they were parked there and no one said anything. After all the stink the town made, the committee's made on that.
Okay, so,
Town, you think?
I'm sorry, Becky?
I was just, I'm not sure. I guess there's a stink that I'm unfamiliar with.
Mm.
So,
Well, Frank, are you talking about what, earlier this year or last year when there was concern about the safety of people being on the dam and whether people should be permitted or not? And there was I think it was voted on.
Yep, and this town just did that charge or whatever got put down, but it was the parking that came through the Lake Wyola, the LWAC board voted to have that no parking there.
Was the idea that by saying it's no parking, it would prevent people from going to stand on dangerously on the dam? Was that the concept?
That's
Okay.
what my concept. So, yeah,
Gotcha.
the idea is to keep the, when the signs were put up and Steve put them up that day, and I was just surprised to see Connecticut plates parked next to the things when the LWAC made such a stink about no one parking there
Mhm.
to use the dam.
I thought Steve put up the signs in response to the select board.
Well, yeah, it was through recommendations through the LWAC, yes. So it was just interesting.
Yep.
Everybody's got different agendas, I guess. And we just want to fix the roof.
That's all we want to do. Make sure we don't park on the streets and get a ticket.
But I bet if I talk to the chief, we might not get a ticket
Right.
if we can't park there.
We're doing maintenance. Yep.
Well, I'd like to think, I don't know if you mentioned that to the police that will be there tomorrow, Becky?
I haven't, but I will do that right now.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Jeff, anything to add about the Spear Library roof?
No, I called him, but I just remembered that I never got a call back. So I'll have to call again.
When I met with him out there, and he went up in the attic with me and I told him about leakage around the chimney, leakage at the ridge, and then the roof leak itself. He was talking about putting a sealant, I think silicone, on the chimney itself, including doing the other work. And I didn't ask him for any kind of estimate. So since he hasn't been there yet, I guess the question is, do we just allow him to do the work he thinks needs to be done? Or should we say, don't put the sealant on the chimney?
How bad is it leaking?
Well, when I was in there earlier this year or last year, whenever it was now, that it was raining. It was raining quite heavily. It was leaking through the roof at the point where the real leak is, quite a bit. And it was running down at least a couple walls of the sides of the chimney in the attic. I don't know what it's like every time it rains, though.
But you're saying he's proposing just to put silicone. Are you talking about a joint silicone sealant, or are you talking about spraying the masonry with silicone?
I think that's what he's talking about. I mean,
Right.
looking for any, say, flashings that need to be resealed, that would be one thing. I mean, the ridge has a metal cap, but it was leaking when I was in there. And, I think he's talking about painting or spraying the
The
entire
masonry?
chimney mass with silicone.
Is the masonry failing? Can you poke it with a nail? Do you know?
The masonry on the roof side, that chimney has been rebuilt, I'm guessing when they did the roof about 15 years ago.
Okay, so more modern mortar, so.
Mortar and new brick,
Yeah.
harder brick, harder mortar. I mean, I've never been a big fan of silicone because my understanding was that silicone is not a total sealant, but when the moisture gets behind it, then it traps it. And if you get the right freeze thaw conditions, you can start having brick fracturing.
Right.
And I threw that out at him, but he didn't seem to think that was a concern. But
And that's the only thing he's planning on doing is putting silicone on the masonry. Or you think he's gonna do something else?
um, well, I guess without him having been up on the roof around the chimney,
Mhm.
have to wait and see.
Okay, all right. And then Becky, under the law, can we just hire him?
Um,
And would he have to do prevailing?
yes, he
Or
would have to do prevailing wages, but
Yeah,
you,
but isn't he a single provider,
Yes,
he doesn't
right,
have any
but he
employees.
has to submit, he has to submit his insurance that kind of proves that. Or, yeah, if he's a sole provider, he shouldn't have any problems. I've just been conned by a number of sole proprietors, so. But it was mostly Bob doing it, so. Oh, well. Um,
All right, well, let me talk to him, then we'll go from there.
Jeff, the names of the people, because so we have to solicit 3 bids legally. You already reached out to one person who didn't respond. If you could give me their names, so we have those listed.
No, he's the only guy that I think. Oh, you're going back a couple of years now.
Yeah,
Not a
there
minor.
was another name
Library.
that I don't know if Mary Ann had it, but we called, this fella came out, and it turned out that I think it had been his father's business, and now the gentleman that came out, is on his own, and he was uninsured.
which one
So,
was the side of the road slate roofs signs? And we had a few signs over the side of the road that said slate roofs repairs.
Right, but I don't think that's where this gentleman came from. I
no,
think,
I probably can, I think his father did the last
right,
repair at the library.
right. So does that count as a solicitation?
I think it does.
Okay.
I mean, you spoke to him, he couldn't do the work.
Well,
But-
we wouldn't allow him to do the work because he wasn't insured.
Right, right. Um, Jeff, what is the name of this person?
I don't have my notes in front of me.
Okay,
You know,
You know this guy. He's the one up in Deerfield,
Oh, Mitch Hawkins.
Mitch
yeah.
Hawkins.
Chalk. Great.
Yeah, but that's only 2.
So we need to come up with a third.
Who was the first name again?
I'm trying to figure out where I can find his name the fastest. Um, And I can call somebody. Yeah, we just need 3. Slate roofs. I'm not coming up with his name. I'll just check in with Mary Ann. Oh, well, this is really old. Anybody know a Peter Hosmer?
Nope.
Roland Roofing.
Do you have anyone else to suggest, Anna?
I think Shumway does slate. I thought they did. Wonder if I could just look that up. I don't know about their workman's comp situation because I think it's a family partnership, but I might be wrong or have old information.
I think he didn't want to do a project with us at another time. So he's a great one to call because he'll say no.
Oh,
I mean, since we have somebody,
Hopefully.
hopefully.
So we just need to contact a
Sure.
roofer, or we need to contact a roofer who actually does slate.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
Shumway's website, I just pulled it up, does say they do slate, so it's probably worth a phone call if that solves the problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Advertise a lot.
Okay, so we had quality renovations. Have you ever heard of them?
Nope.
I don't know if they're quality or not.
I don't know. I once saw an ad for a contractor named Not a Con Contracting. Great. It's on like the paper menu at a diner. It's just delightful.
That's
Well,
pretty-
I'll call Shumway. That'll take care of it, right?
Yep.
Just using Google Maps, there's a company called Slate Roof Repair in Ludlow, Massachusetts. I'll send it to you, Becky.
Okay. I think we're good. If we have Shumway,
Okay.
Mitch Hawkins, and the third person that I'll find from Marianne and then we can, and this guy that I could look into these guys if Marianne can't find the name. Slate roof. Okay. Oh, Roberts Roofs. This again is from 2013. Ah. Okay. We can make this work.
Cool.
Okay, so moving on, continued discussion about historic commission's proposal to erect gazebo over a renovated signboard. So on the 10th, they presented to the select board and I attended the meeting and, they presented their proposal and, I said that, that the building committee was not in support of it. We felt that it overwhelmed it, and that was sort of our main objection, if you will. And I think Bert Fernandez explained that based on Jeff, listen to this, based on Jeff Quackenbush's comment, they came up with the idea of installing plexiglass panels on the sides for the winter.
From
That's
the
good.
gazebo.
On the sides of the gazebo, same design.
Good luck to him.
Right.
Still
And
looks like it's still gonna look like it's crushing the board, but okay.
well, I mean, putting plexiglass panels on there, I think creates all sorts of issues. I mean, how do you support it? How do you attach it? Becky brought up a good one when I was talking to her about it. It'll reflect light. I mean, if you're driving, you won't, when the sun is shining and hitting the face that you see on Cooleyville Road, probably won't be able to even see it.
How do you get the dead bugs out of there?
Well, they said that, it'll have space at the top and bottom for ventilation, but these are meant to go on for the winter, these panels, and
Oh,
then be
okay.
taken off in the warmer weather.
Okay.
The select board decided to say table it. I mean, they didn't make a decision, but they wanted to discuss it. Was it Make Peace? I forget her first name.
Melissa?
Melissa, I think Melissa also said that she thought it overwhelmed it. There were a couple comments about it being too low. So I actually started a letter, which I think if you allow me to
Yep.
screen share, I think I can put it up and I'd like people to look at it. letter from the committee saying that, reiterating that we're not in support of it as it is.
Why do we need a letter?
Well, I think my feeling is that I don't want the select board to approve this.
Okay, you think a
Especially if
letter?
they apply for the
CPA,
grants,
right?
get the money.
All right.
Yes, Becky.
One of the big issues for Henry, and remember Henry was in a big rush because he said the CPC had moved everything up and he had to get it done immediately, so they didn't have time to do any more work or research. Well, what was made clear at the select board meeting is the CPC is going to do 2 rounds this year. They're doing the early one, and then they'll do a normal one in January through April for the annual town meeting. So they have a reprieve to work with. And hopefully they take advantage of it.
Becky, am I now a co-host?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, it said host
They won't get
disabled
the
participant.
signboard.
Becky, it says that host disabled participant screen
Oh,
sharing.
you did me, Becky.
I did both. Oh, I did Jeff instead of you, Stephen. I'm sorry. Sometimes they move when I'm in process, but
Steve is now co-host.
now everybody's co-host but Anna.
Because they weren't going to get the signboard back till next spring, so that gives them plenty of time to work now. That's good.
Yeah. And I think Stephen had a good idea. I mean, even if they get it back and they haven't solved the problem, they can put it in the old town hall until they do. I mean, hopefully not for years, but for a few months.
Yep.
Okay, can people see what I just hopefully put up?
Yep.
So people want to just read through that, see what they think. Love to hear comments, suggestions.
I also like Jeff's idea about the Frontenac. Encase it in a glass case, seal it. Marty Wells said there was, he looked up the price of metal was within, that type of thing. So mentioning something like that, perhaps encasing it all in glass, smaller, it wouldn't stick out, it wouldn't hide it. There's probably anti-reflective glass too. You can get it with your eyeglasses.
Jeff, is that what your thought was, to actually encase the thing in glass?
I think again, I was just trying to tell these guys there's more options than that little pagoda.
Right,
And again, I'm not saying that the solution is encasing it in glass. I'm saying think outside the frickin' box a little bit.
right.
And one alternative could be to enclose it in glass, like I saw up in Canada.
Right.
I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm just saying that's
Okay.
another possibility.
Alternatives, yes.
Yeah.
So do people think that should be in there?
What should be in there?
a statement saying one alternative would be to close
No,
it.
I don't think we need to tell anybody that. In fact, I kind of question why we need the last two paragraphs. Isn't the issue that we just don't endorse it?
Yeah.
Why do we need to tell them how to fix it? That's their problem. That's why I want them to think outside the box.
Well, when I was at the meeting, um, uh, who was it? Who's the gentleman who's sort of running that? Bert Fernandez asked me if the building committee had come up with any ideas or worked, any redesign. Well, I have
And
no
the,
problem. Huh?
and the answer was what?
I said, no,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that's not our job.
yeah. That's why I don't think we
Well,
need the last two paragraphs.
okay. Anna, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I get what Jeff is saying. I would maybe quibble with like the second to last paragraph, at least explains our reasoning why we don't support it. And maybe that could be shortened to like a sentence that the a plexiglass panel is not a one size fits all solution. It will require a lot of detailed decisions such as blah 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 blah, which is what you have listed there. So maybe it's not any shorter what I just said, but I suppose that to me that paragraph at least explains why we don't endorse it, because without it, it's just saying we don't endorse it.
I think it's good to explain.
So one of the reasons I included that very last paragraph was that Janice Stone, so now I'm at the right meeting, at the select board meeting, explained that the signboard in Montague, I don't know if people have seen that when you drive through Montague. I mean, it looks quite lovely. That's a replica. And it's like, so I guess I asked myself, why did they decide to spend all this money on a historically correct restoration? Why didn't they just do a replica that, would weather well and I assume be a lot less expensive, but
Now they're having the paint analyzed. There's all kinds of detailed work being done, analyzing each layer of paint. And it's like, we know townspeople have touched it up. I know one person who talks about, lying on the ground, touching up the letters with black paint at different times, so it lost its, I don't know how much of the original is left, but there can't be that much.
Does Montague have an original somewhere?
I don't know. Probably it's under the other one.
right. Okay.
Well, I still believe this letter is okay, but kill the last two sentences. I
The last two.
I mean, the last two paragraphs. I think, in my opinion, the last sentence on this thing should be our opinion is that further design studies are necessary. And then that's up to them to go from there. So, for whatever it's worth.
Mr. McGinn, what's your
I
opinion?
kind of agree with Jeff. Yeah, I know what they said, and they want to do something, and they use Jeff as an excuse for encasing or plexiglass. But you gave them a bunch to do about it. We didn't like the design; it was too low. They didn't want to raise it that much. I mentioned, Anna, you weren't there about the ADA hitting your head, and they said, "Well,
Oh, yeah.
we can raise it 3 inches," and it's like, no, it's going to be that 7-foot guy is going to whatever. So I said, come back with I know someone's doing a son or someone's doing all the drawings. Come back with something that's not going to be ugly. Just come back with other ideas. And they should have had 2 or 3 proposals, I think. And the problem that they have is they're paying very much attention to this historical commission, and who was playing God, saying, you know, you got to really protect this thing if it's going to last another 100 years. But put it in a museum.
Well, that's what they talked about doing originally. They were gonna, I think Miriam wanted to put it in the new library, but
Ah,
there wasn't enough space. So yeah, it's
Yeah, I just think just say that we'd like to see more design studies and leave it at that, and don't do their job because they're going to be frustrated.
Okay, so do I hear a motion that this letter will is okay to be sent as long as I remove the last two paragraphs? Send this to the select board?
Jeff?
Yes.
I
I'll
would
make that motion.
CC, you want to
Pardon?
CC the historical commission too, though, right?
Pardon?
Sure. Copy the historic commission.
Yeah.
With this letter.
Yeah, that's
All
fine.
right,
Jeff motioned, I'll second.
okay, all in favor, Cook,
I,
McGinn,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
All right.
down the side. So there's the revised letter that,
that was quick. Great job.
thank you. Well, it was easy. Okay, I will send this to the select board and to the historic commission. Great. Okay, what time? Okay. Do we have any unanticipated items to talk about?
Nope.
Can I throw out a couple?
Yeah.
Okay, so about every other time I go out the back door, the door's open.
Back door. Town hall.
Town hall back door.
Okay. All right.
So frequently is not closing on its own. And the front door, the police sergeant tried to move the locking the plate to make it open easier, but I still have people like having to like pound the door a couple times to escape town hall. Just so you're aware.
Now, did you say that's the front door?
The front door we can't get out and the back door isn't shutting.
If you'd like, I'll look at my old notes from 2 years ago when they had a year or whatever it happened. It is a extruded PVC residential cheap back door.
And the back door, I'm nervous because it did come completely off its hinges
well,
last.
I think it's time to have a full handicap door put in there and not find out what Kohl's has cheap right now to replace it. So I'll look into that, Becky.
Thank you very, very much.
So where do we stand with our, the document we've been preparing on all the outstanding issues of the different buildings, so that we can then prioritize what we want to start working on?
Right.
Are we done with that?
No, I've been spending time this past week. I'm pretty much done with Old Town Hall. I need to get into the attic at the fire department. Len's been out because he's had some issues with his back that was operated on. But I'm going to try and do that. And then, the elementary school is going to take more time. But I would like to think that, with the other buildings being completed, that we could start to formulate a plan of attack.
Right.
So, we need to go through and assign action levels to everything else that I've done, and then start to work on prioritizing.
But you don't want to prioritize until you've gone through the fire department attic?
I think that, I mean, we could certainly look at, after we assign action levels to everything else that hasn't had action levels assigned.
Okay,
Hopefully by that time I will have been in that attic.
okay. So next meeting, do we want to go through the rest of your list and assign action or,
Make that a priority meeting. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I mean, do we have until 6:30, Becky?
Yes,
And then- Yeah, I mean, you could,
you can go, I mean, you have as long as the committee wants tonight. There's
we won't
another
be knocked
meeting.
off of Zoom.
No, I had to cancel the meeting that was going to be at 6:30 because the committee hadn't gotten sworn in yet.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how much longer people want to go, but we could go and look at the certainly Old Town Hall, which I've spent quite a bit of time in this past
Okay.
week.
Let's do it.
You share. Becky changed me to.
I did. Everybody but Anna is now a co-host or host.
I accept less responsibility.
Well, if you think of something, I'll make you a host too.
I would suggest we just go to 6:30 since we've all accounted for the time and kind of
Yeah.
just keep on schedule. Okay.
Y'all can see that?
Yes. Oh, one quick question, Frank.
Yep.
I noticed when you get to history, history is the only word that's all caps. And I didn't know if just for the
Because I
sake of,
copied and pasted whatever I was doing. The history is not going to be printable when we do history. And we talked about that. If we put all this history and then start printing it, when you clean something, we clean up something and move it from, comments to action level to fix, that's where we're going to dump the history. And that was actually not going to print out for the committees that we were going to send this to. That was just an internal thing that we were going to be looking at. So I can change it if you want. It's not going to be a printable thing.
well, personally, one thing I like about the history is then people can see what we have done.
And I thought we talked about it. I know well, then when they go to look at, the committees go to look at that every year, they're going to add 10, 15 pages. And we thought it would be cumbersome for them to look at all those things. They won't even look at anything. You just want them to look at, we want the finance committee and the select board to see what we want to fix and spend money on, is what I thought. And the history, and then, we can bring it up or put it on a separate report, but putting it there and having it print up every time we make that larger is going to make this report larger and larger and larger over a couple of years. And I thought we found that, laborious just to go through and read. We just want to hit them with the money. We can do it as a separate entity, as a separate book. But my understanding was this is what we need done on the town's buildings. And at the time, and once it's done, we can show, they'll know we spent money on the school because it all looks brand new. On the outside, that is. And things like that. So that's what I thought we talked about with the history. That was my understanding.
Anna, Jeff, your thoughts?
Yeah, I guess I had a similar thought. I think it was just if we don't keep the history, like none of us are going to remember, especially if something goes from one action level to another. Oh,
Yeah, but I don't want to make this document so huge that nobody's going to read it just out of fear.
I think the key is the formatting. So if there's like a
Well,
long
well,
history in there, it's not changing the, line height or it's just in there. So if it lives in digital form, not in print form, someone can click on the cell and read it.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of liking the idea that history is not shown, and then we can go,
Sure, I mean, you can hide, you
we can
can,
go find.
I mean, I feel like that's all formatting. You can like
Yeah.
designate the print area, you can hide the column.
No,
You
I
can,
think for the buildings committee, we need the history.
yeah,
The select board doesn't need to know the history, even after it's fixed. You know, they can ask questions, but my understanding was we're only gonna give the select board and finance committee and all these committees a PDF of this with, and then the PDF will have hyperlinks to pictures and that's it. And there'll be no history involved. Well, the history will always be there, but it will never print on the PDF that we give to committees.
Right,
yeah. So in that case, it is formatting. You just, you can, that cell can have as much data and, whatever, in many words as we want in there, but we just don't let the cell get bigger, to accommodate it. So it stays rolled up in there.
Yep.
But you're saying, Frank, if we wanted to say for the sake of demonstrating projects that have been completed, we could just print out history.
Yeah. But what Anna's saying is, if we put in 50 things on that first box, that box will then become 10 inches long.
Oh, I understand.
That happens with all of them. We don't want to do that. We want that history to be a compact thing so that when we do send the spreadsheet out, it's exactly what you see there. And those, the way the comments are, like, when you type in the comments, if you put in 30 sentences, it becomes a very thick thing. We don't want the history to do that and have something next to it saying none, comments none, and action level no. But then that whole thing is skewed. So it's a formatting thing. So we'll do the formatting, but the history isn't for anyone other than the buildings committee, is what I understood.
Well, hearing everybody speak, I mean, that sounds fine, but my question was, if we want to print out the history to say, just demonstrate projects that have been completed, we can do that independent of the report. Am I
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Okay.
Are you determining an action level?
Yes. Hold on a second. Yeah. So asphalt architectural type old town. High priority.
I'm not understanding the comment yet. No drip edge, no to that base or rake of lower roof.
Rear roof. So there's a rear addition, and
Yeah.
so essentially uh, it's a lower gable roof. And when they put the shingles on, there's no drip edge, either at the base or along the rake.
Hmm.
The main roof, that's got drip edge on it.
Is there, and is the wood rotting?
Yeah, well, you can see if you
Okay.
continue reading, rotted sections of trim noted along rear rake, right rear rake.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's high. I think so. How you're gonna do it, put the rake on, the trim on is another thing. Okay.
Same with that. If you're gonna do the
I think-
roof, it'll be high
I think this
priority.
is another high, yep.
Not applicable. Not applicable.
High.
Aye. Further
Monitor.
inspection.
I got the chimney cleaned about 5 years ago.
I thought further inspection in the past, we've been doing monitor instead.
Oh. Okay,
Monitor.
monitor.
NA. Oh, well, for skylights is NA.
Oh, up above on skylights.
Oh,
Yeah, go back up.
I right clicked that, I'm reading over, yeah.
So the lightning arrestor, I think, is intact. But with my binoculars and the sun and the shadows, it was a little tough to be certain about, but I think it's intact.
Let's go priority low.
Okay.
I'm thinking high.
I am, yeah. Especially if you think of all the other stuff that could be done at the same time.
Mhm.
Seems like that, and the windows are all together, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm. We need another category. Although I feel like if we were approaching a project with siding and windows, like the door would
Yeah.
be a part of that, and maybe it just says priority high because it's part and parcel with those other items.
Right.
Unless you want to close off that door. And right now.
This is where the, like, the
have to
old
have it-
loading dock is.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that was added after the fact. That could all be taken down.
Where's the
Yeah.
side? Where
When you
is
look
this
to the
door?
left, you look to the left, it bumps out a little and we wouldn't walk on it because it was all rotted.
That provides entrance to a little back hall that gets you into the kitchen and then to the bathrooms. And I assume Becky told me that at one point that building was used as a school.
for
Right.
the
And
kindergarten, the year they transitioned to the new elementary school. I mean, the year before, they didn't have enough room in the town hall, which was the main school.
I
Um,
suspect part of the reason for that door is secondary egress. There's no other way out of that building.
You probably should have it if it's a public
Yeah,
building.
this is secondary, yeah. It's all rotted, so. That would be high if we're putting everything back for a second egress.
What is those side steps removed? What's
There's
that
no,
mean?
they've been removed. There's only the little platform that juts out and then it's like a 3.5, 4 foot jump.
Okay.
It wasn't really a loading dock. It was a side entrance, but now with the steps removed, it looks like it was a loading dock.
Okay, yeah.
How about low?
Yeah.
About high?
Yeah. Low.
Um,
So,
okay.
I mean, while this is not ideal, obviously, is it actually causing a problem? Like, is there water seepage, or just that, like, we know in principle we don't want things back pitched?
Well, what's interesting is when I was in the crawl space, there's one area that I can get in without having my coveralls on. And there's an area where there's actually 2 days ago or 3 days ago when I was in there, there was 2 inches of standing water. And, we haven't been having much rain. So I thought
The
that,
fifth, it's a fifth record in the state of Massachusetts for not having rain, by the way. Fifth longest.
No,
so
okay.
my first thought was the vault, the storage vault, which is kind of above that area, has a mini split. So I first thought, oh, is the condensate drain leaking? So first I checked the discharge drain, which dumps outside the building. That was totally dry. And it hasn't been hot, so I don't know that it's really been running a whole lot in terms of cooling. But then I went into the vault and there was no signs on the floor, the wood floor around the drain of any leakage. But the other thing in the crawl space is the water feed line from the well comes in right near where this standing water is. And the well is currently not in use. I mean, nothing's connected. So my thought is the well somehow leaking in to the building?
Hmm.
Because I talked with Becky about it, and she doesn't think the well has been abandoned. And I'm guessing that it's a shallow dug well and not a deep well, because there's no wellhead outside.
The well is actually on the common.
Oh,
Ah, so it could be gravity. It's that big can on the common that gravity feeds it down.
That takes care of your theory, Stephen.
Yep.
Okay, so let's, how about priority low?
Yep. Same, we want to anticipate, further inspection required on the slopes.
Just say monitor.
Yep.
I did clear some of the vines and weeds away from the mini split so I could get access to it to see if the condensate drain was leaking. So that's currently taken care of.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I know the highway department spent a day clearing it before we put in the mini split. It was just a mass of vegetation.
That was back. Do you know that the dating code on that, you'll see when we get to the mini split, that unit was made in either 1999 or 2009. Because they only give you one number.
On the mini split?
Yeah. Do you think it's newer than that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was when Susie was town clerk and they were, yeah, we put the mini split in. It's probably been about 8 years.
Uh,
So like 2016 or so, 17.
I'll have to double check the serial on
Hmm.
that.
Oh, Jamrock
Yeah.
installed that.
So is there any desire to heat this building?
Um, it's real, the time it's rough is when the town clerk has to get in there and look for records in the middle of January. The boiler died a couple years, maybe 3 years back now. Jamrog declared it dead.
Yeah.
So other
Well,
than
to
the
me,
occasional public records search that, she has to do, it's just really uncomfortable. You just bundle up and you go in. You
well, I'm
just,
just thinking, trying to heat that building is going to be a bear because I'm sure it leaks like the Titanic. And
we used to keep it at about 45 degrees in the winter, just keeping the boiler going.
Furnace. Sorry.
okay, let's go priority low.
Okay. Same priority low, so the.
Yeah.
So what happened to the building, back in the late 90s is they did turn the heat up and they did not drain the pipes. So they all froze and exploded.
Well, I guess there's also the question of if you wanted to have a functioning heating system in there, do you stick with a oil-fired furnace or do you put in a mini split and just run that when you want to go into the space?
Mhm.
That would
Yeah,
be a
the records room could have a mini split put in, another mini split on that side of the building.
The current mini split just serves the vault.
Right,
Right.
it's in the vault. But I think another mini split, that's a small enough space if we put one in there. Because the bigger thing would be for the air conditioning, and we try to run dehumidifiers over there. If we could, the dehumidifiers are problematic all the time. And a mini split in the main room would solve, we wouldn't have to run the dehumidifiers.
And I think the mini split would probably be less costly to run than the dehumidifiers.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't function at well below 30, so.
But you wouldn't be running it that frequently. I mean, how often does somebody go over there to do a record search, would you say, on average?
Every couple months.
Okay, so every couple months, you turn on the mini split and give it time to warm up the space up to 45 degrees. And then you go over there and
No,
do
we
your-
used to keep it at 45 degrees all of the time. But we could do it that way too. We could just turn it on when we need it. So that's the beauty of a mini split. We wouldn't have to keep anything running continuously.
right. I mean,
I
you're
keep
not,
wondering, I keep wondering why we're heating a building we don't go into.
Because the town clerk does have to get in there.
Yeah, but do like Steven's saying.
Yep.
Is there a need for air conditioning periodically? Because the minis, I wonder, like, if we just need to heat it periodically and you want something to come up to temperature quickly, would just like electric resistant baseboard heat just do it? It's cheaper and
well, Becky mentioned about the problem with controlling the humidity in there in the summer.
oh yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah.
It's because of there's boxes and boxes of
Yeah.
records in
Okay.
the main space outside of the vault. And a lot of them they get to their 7 year and we can throw them out, but there's a lot of stuff in there that's where the historical commission has
Yeah.
piled all different kinds of papers and that would be the reason.
Yeah, it seems like a tough. I'm sorry.
Well, I think at some point it would be a good idea for the committee to meet at Old Town Hall and discuss options for use. One of the thoughts that I had was to strip out the bathrooms and the kitchen and create that into storage, as say, economical in terms of use of the space as possible, which could eliminate a lot of the things that are just sitting around. And if you did that, you could actually if you could get the majority of the materials back in there, you could put a door at the entry to that area and have another small mini split just to heat or air condition and dehumidify that space. But I think that, discussion and consideration, and as Jeff would say, thinking outside of the box in terms of how to go forward with the use of that building. something we
Right.
should do.
It seems they're like somewhat at cross purposes, like if we're storing materials that need to be protected from humidity and we need a space that's comfortable for an employee to get access, we shouldn't put all that stuff in a space that doesn't have any of those controls. So we either should be looking at fixing it up, like Steven says, or finding a different place to keep all that stuff, which I don't have any good answer to that. Maybe the answer is nowhere, but
Right.
those,
Yes, it
yeah.
is. It's documented nowhere. Susie Mosier as town clerk had a record storage committee for 3 years where they put together all the current situations. They did temperature testing in downstairs of town hall and the old town hall, and tried to come up with a recommendation. And the recommendation is we need more storage in town hall and in old town hall.
Could that be the old library?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Can't we use the library?
Well, you might want to talk, there's a number of different departments that have their eye on that building.
Police
So
being
you
one of
could
them.
take it up with anybody.
So many fun ways to solve that.
Yeah, so that's the beginning of a lot of different answers to that.
The one big thing is gonna be about that building and its use is it doesn't have a bathroom. Storage is
Um,
right up the alleyway. To put a bathroom in there, we've already gone over that. There's no way to put any type of leaching field, and we'd have to tap into town, and we'd have to probably upgrade the towns.
I
to do
think
that.
there have been reasonable proposals of adding a bathroom. Have
Could
been,
we
Don't have the
take
setback in the ledge. There's no setback and ledge to the to add it. You won't
but
have
there's
a.
a septic, there's already a septic on town common for the church. I'm just saying,
Okay,
I don't think it's 100% impossible.
a tight tank could possibly work.
then we'd have long-term maintenance on that cost. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not the issue at the moment.
All right, let's try to get through this old
We-
town hall.
Yeah,
So
So
Back
you'll
to
get,
item-
so you're gonna
item-
say, further inspection is required because you're gonna check the date, Stephen?
You don't have to put that there. I'll check the date. But I
Okay,
had the
just so-
Becky think in 2016.
put monitor on there.
Yep.
Yep.
There's no thermostat, right? Or is there?
Well, I was unable to, I have to find where the control is for I mean, the heating system, the thermostat's non-functional, but I couldn't find the thermostat for the mini split.
it's in the vault.
Yeah, I need to just, I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the vault, so.
Just put monitor
Okay.
for thermostat. Once we find it.
You guys want to stop?
Yep.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
Well, it's 6:40 or just about.
Oh, it's got a lot of pages here.
Oh,
Finish this
All right.
next time.
This one?
You said finish next time, correct?
Yes.
How does everybody feel about a meeting in a month rather than in 2 weeks?
Sounds good.
Any reason?
Why not two? Why not 2 weeks just to get this friggin' thing done?
Okay,
The 16th? Or the second? Second,
I have no idea.
the second.
seconds in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Works for me.
Works for me.
I'm going to be away most of next week, so I won't be, I won't have, hopefully I can get into the attic at the fire department before then. I should be able to do that.
Mhm.
Steve, I noticed Lenny has had some of his other officers covering the fire station when he's not there. I'll try to find out when that happens so you can stop by. I'll try to give you some times that somebody will be there,
Okay.
even if Lenny's not back yet.
That sounds good, because I mean, I could, Friday I might have some time.
Okay,
Okay, good.
Do I hear a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor, Cook,
Aye.
Yin,
Aye.
Quackenbush,
All right,
Elmas, aye. Thank you, everyone. See you in 2 weeks.
okay, good night.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
You.